interview Andy Sloan, day 1.
Do you want to leave these holes in or do you want to cover them up?
Cover them up.
Think about what you're taking, what you can see in your viewfinder.
At Rosehill School in Nottingham, they are challenging the belief that pupils on the autistic spectrum are not able to use their imagination successfully. The Creative Partnership Project encourages pupils to experience a wide range of media to produce innovative artwork. And teaching assistants take an active role in the planning, delivery and evaluation of creative activities. Kaylee, a former pupil, reveals how lessons in digital photography enabled her to realise her dream.
You wouldn't have recognised me 3 years ago. I didn't used to talk and I used to get very angry.
Are you ready? Lights, camera, action.
Autism is a lifelong biologically based developmental disorder, and that will affect people in 3 ways. They will have difficulties with communication. That is both verbal and non-verbal communication. They'll have great difficulties understanding any kind of language. They will have great difficulties with social situations. They'll have difficulties in understanding how people behave and react. Thereby they have great difficulties in establishing and maintaining relationships. It used to be said that people with autism lack imagination, in what people term flexibility of thought. I think in many cases it's the neurotypicals, that's us who have the difficulty in understanding our children's imagination. But I think much of the work we're doing at Rosehill at the moment shows that that is not actually the case.
Thumbs up! Thumbs up! Morning, everybody!
Morning, Andy.
Rosehill School is a school for children with autistic spectrum disorders. We go from 4.5 up to 19, and every child in our school has an autistic spectrum disorder. There are only 3 girls, and that is statistically a norm. A very high percentage of people with autism are males. We now have a morning exercise session. It's akin to the brain gym. It puts endorphins back in the system. They're feeling good about themselves and they actually just enjoy the physical exercise. Just that coordinating the brain together to get them to do simple step-ups or simple jumping forward and backward is not easy for our children. We tend to take it as granted that it's easy to jump. It is not for our children. They need to be taught to do that and to get the brain acting and working in that kind of way.
Running was fantastic! And all around my lives, I just run around and then sit back again.
Some children in that group couldn't actually come into the hall 2 years ago. So for them to actually enter into the hall and be there taking part is really quite an amazing achievement for them. And all the sort of spatial awareness it takes to actually not bump into one another. One lad had ear protectors on that was there to cut out certain sounds, and although he's sensitive to certain sounds, he is able to cope with that running. If it becomes too much, then obviously he'll leave the situation. Danny, the tall lad I was running with, just loves running around that hall in the morning, so it's really good for them. Well done!
The whole sensory area is greatly impaired. They have big difficulties in processing sensory information. Some children will enjoy certain noises. Other children will find noises very, very difficult to cope with. Some children will find touch very difficult to deal with, but other ones will crave hugging or to be touched. So there are big extremes in that sensory perception, that sensory processing area. The world is a very complex place for them, and therefore they get very anxious and nervous about a variety of things. In some ways you can say autism is an anxiety-based disorder. We have to provide an environment that is very predictable and safe and calm so that our children can actually cope with those anxieties.
Andy's morning brain gym offers a dependable routine which enables Rosehill pupils to take on the creative challenges of the day and exercise their imagination.
In many cases our children have very vivid imaginations, but that I think is the same of all artists. Salvador Dali and his clocks and Monet and his lilies. It's a very good way for their pupils to communicate their inner feelings with staff, if you like, and others.
There's proof that people with autism do have imagination. It might be slightly stilted and it might be very, very obsessionally based, but it is real imagination. Well, when we do see imagination displayed within the classroom, we're really excited about it. We really celebrate imagination when we do see it. Just encourage all of the children to join in and make it a real fun, positive session. And what do we listen to?
The music.
Music.
In playtime, it's toast.
Tell me about playtime.
Toast.
Toast. Where's the toast?
On the frame.
The playground frame looks like toast, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I called it, didn't I?
You did. Yeah, you did.
Looks like that.
What do we do on Wednesday afternoons?
Outdoor sports.
We do.
Yeah. Outdoors.
Yeah. And where did we go last week?
Some archers.
We did. And what did we do?
We climbed and we swam.
We did. Show me how we swung. You show me.
Swim?
Yeah, stand up and show me. Show me how we climbed. Up, and then we went...
Go!
Yes. Terry's a very interesting pupil. He's got classic autism. He's very autistic, but he also does have an excellent imagination. A lot of it is repetitive, and a lot of it is based around his obsessions and his interests.
Outside play, call it toast.
We do? Why do you call it toast?
Because it's like this lot.
What does it make you think of?
Think of holding it.
Do you?
Yeah.
And then, do you pretend to give me some toast?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Look, I'll show you, look, here's some toast.
Okay. Oh, hang on a minute. Where's my peanut butter?
Here it is, look.
Thank you. How much will that be?
Might be 6p, won't
6p,
it?
there you go.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see my taste my toast. Oh, delicious. Would you like some?
Yeah, but shall I pretend I'm
You're
going on the
just
climbing
pretending.
frame? But shall I pretend to be a climbing frame?
Yeah, pretend to go on the climbing frame. Go on then. Oh, yeah, that's good pretending.
Yeah.
Rosehill School have very much a team approach as regards organising classrooms. There will be one teacher and 3 or 4 teaching assistants. Ofsted picked up on the fact that a team approach is very central to the way that we work with our pupils. Many of our TAs have an interest in music and drama and art, and we have used that interest and built that up. And many of our TAs have a leading role to play in the development of the arts within the school. They actually take on board much of the planning organisation along with the teacher, but have a leading light to play within the school as regards the arts.
Ball to Debbie.
I've been mentoring Debbie, so hopefully Debbie will be able to go on to do this with other children.
Ball.
That's the way the school's trying to do it. We're all taking on a person to mentor, and then hopefully they can pass their skills on, and then most of the staff will be trained and be able to do this with the children. We have to have 2 staff with Daniel because he can be aggressive. We found contact very difficult. We found new situations very difficult. He's quite an angry young man. And what we're trying to do is get him to communicate with us.
Can we clap our hands? Can we clap our hands? Clap, 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 clap. Can we clap our hands?
He quite likes songs, so we're trying to get the right tune that kind of grabbed his attention. And if we got it, we kind of used it, like we did the stamping the feet. And if you notice, he kept touching our feet to do it again. So we took that as a cue to do it again. And we were trying to actually get him to move about the room as well. And not always just go over to him, try and get him to come over to us.
Daniel, put your arms up, arms up, arms up. Daniel, put your arms up, arms up, arms up.
The first session he came down and he wouldn't come off the ball. Didn't want anything to do with me or Debbie. Angry every time he came in, every time he went out. Past couple of sessions he's come in quite angry again, but he has accessed more. I mean, you know, you saw him laughing, you saw him chuckling. So he was accessing small bits of it. which is a massive thing for him. It's creative thinking.
Shoes on, time to put your
First I was a little bit sceptical, then I realised what it does for the children and how much we get from the children.
One of the things that we've got left to do is take photographs of some flowers, close-up photographs of the flowers too. What do we need to use to take close-up? What picture?
Macro.
Macro.
The nice flower.
It's a flower symbol on those sorts of cameras, isn't it? We've actually had 5 pupils doing a Open College Network accredited course in digital imaging at entry level, and we have just finished off some of our folders doing that, and it's been really exciting. They've done some lovely work. We've done a lot of work on close-up, looking at macro images, exploring our environment with the camera. It's very challenging working with children on the autistic spectrum. We've come to realise that working in a sensory way with our children and trying to help them to realise their own self-worth and to be able to get them to communicate through a sensory, a creative way is a very positive way to work. And because that is my interest too, I think that's what's kept me here, and to try and work on that with the students and the other staff, because we do training for the staff as well.
Try not to eat it, Luke, it's not very nice.
With me being the TA in our class, we're given certain subjects to be in charge of, and that's the one thing that I'm really keen on sensory and touch and building things, and the kids love it, so it's just a really good thing to do.
Creative Partnerships was set up in 2002 as a project to promote creativity and creative learning in schools and to leave a legacy. One of my roles in this school in Rosehill is to give them time and insist on time for them as members of staff to reflect upon what's happening and where we go forward.
He's looking at a maths and art course, how we can incorporate art into maths.
Then staff can prepare the students. They can do preparatory work before the eye comes in.
As always, you probably want to challenge and push a little bit with the staff, don't you?
Michelle, this time the whole school will be sharing ideas and sharing possibilities.
Wait for lady.
Like a mummy.
It's the mummy return.
Having an artist in residence has been key, because she can then be very strategic, she can work extremely closely with the staff members, she can support them.
Danny, listen to Betty.
Right. Danny, looking, is this finished? Or do you want to put some more on? How many more pieces? 2? Net is my coordinator with the Creative Partnership. I will discuss with her and with the Deputy Head in what direction the creative work's going. And she will also be involved in the evaluation process. We could possibly interpret seeing, not just physical seeing, but also feelings about things as a way of seeing others or seeing situations.
The stimulus and things we've been thinking about, and they will then take it away and own it for themselves about how they'd use it.
And also, what's great, we'll all be able to share these ideas, because and this time the whole school will be involved on the same activity.
We have challenged the triad of impairments regarding imagination. Right from the onset, we were looking at exploring imagination, although at that time I don't think we were conscious that we were challenging any diagnostic procedures, but that's what's come about.
I have a red balloon. Oh, no, I mean big yellow balloon.
Big yellow balloon. Would you like the red one, or do you want to have this pink one that I've already started?
Like a planet balloon.
There's a planet balloon made.
The pupils here have demonstrated that they do have imaginative capacity.